class, I'm going to show you another technique to do a more complicated pattern that might be useful to you. This involves a couple of filters in Illustrator. As usual, we're going to start with creating a new document, the usual thing, 8.5 by 11. I'm going to be doing that ocean wave that I sketched, so I'm going to call it wave. This is what I'm going to work on here. So I could try to draw this by hand, or I could try to draw in Illustrator, which would be fairly complicated. Or another option is I could do a search and find a photograph that I could use, and I can change it into a vector file using the image trace in Illustrator. I did that search. I searched for, now once again, you want to look for copyright-free art. I mean, as a student, you can use things that aren't copyright-free, but get in the habit of paying attention to that, because once you graduate, you'll no longer be able to use things that aren't, that you don't want to infringe on someone's copyright. So I did that search looking for ocean wave, and I found a couple of photographs that I liked. So I'm going to try this one first. So the first thing to do, of course, is to get the photograph into your documents. That's File, Place. I think, yes, I did a couple. I saw a couple that I liked, but this one I think has the most drama. I think I kind of like that, so I'm going to place it in there. Oh, it's huge. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my scale tool and bring it down to let's say 25%. That's more of an easier size to work with. Okay, so now while this is selected, what I want to do is I want to trace it. You'll notice that up here you have something called image trace. Don't just click on it, because then you won't know what you'll be getting. What you want to do is you want to go to this arrow, and you see there's different ways you can trace it. You don't want any of these high fidelity or low fidelity photos. What you want to do is kind of flatten it into a standard number of colors. Or you could try shades of gray, because whatever you do, you're going to end up changing the colors to be your colors. But say, for instance, if I did, let's say I did 16 colors, just to say. It's a big image, so it's going to take a while. So doing 16 colors, and the computer picks what colors. And like I said, I will be changing it to be my colors later. So let's see, it takes a little bit because it's a big image. That's not bad. It's a lot of colors. Let me try less colors and see what happens. You have to sort of play with this a little bit like most filters. So let me see what happens if I say only 6 colors. Yeah, that's a nice simple image. I like that. And actually, coincidentally, it has a lot of colors that are very similar to my color palette, which wouldn't really matter because I'm going to be changing it. But that reminds me, I've got to bring my color palette in. So let me go to my last document where I had it, and let me select them. Copy, come back to my wave document, paste. All right, so you can see the colors are not bad, considering that pretty close to some of my colors. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I have to expand this, because right now, even though it's made into a vector file, it's just show you what it's going to look like. You don't actually have those vector shapes. So in order to get them, you have to make sure it's selected and click on expand up there. And now you see it's as though I drew it with all these little shapes and points and stuff. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is change this dark color to my navy. This is more of a muddy color. Mine's a pretty crisp color. So using the, you'll notice that it comes in, it's grouped. All the shapes are grouped. I'm going to leave them grouped so I don't lose any part of it, because I can use this white arrow and select just a specific shape. Like there, I got that one dark shape. But now I want to select all of the dark shapes. So what I will do is I will go to Select, Same, Fill Color. I selected all those dark shapes, and now using the eyedropper tool, which you're familiar with, now I have it the right color. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the sky, because I want the background color to show here, so I'm just going to delete that. Next, I think I'm going to take this lightest color, and I'm going to make it white for the froth I have on the wave here, even though white isn't in my palette. Like I told you, you can use some other colors that aren't. So I'll do Select, Same, Fill Color, and I'll find my white over here. See if I just go over there, I can just click on it without even using the eyedropper tool, and it turned it to white. Now I'm going to take the next lightest color and make it into my light blue here. So I pick one of them, select same fill color, grab the eyedropper tool and click on that. Now I'm going to take my second to the darkest color here, select same routine, same fill color, and I'm going to make it that color. So let me have my eyedropper tool, make it that color. Now I still have this one color here that I kind of ran out of colors in my palette. I could leave it gray, but I don't really care for that gray. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of those, same fill color, and I'm just going to manipulate it over here. See how it's very muddy looking? So I'm going to take the black out of it, take the yellow out of it, and I'm just going to watch what's happening. That's looking better. It's pretty close to this though, so maybe what I'll do is take some of the magenta. I want something in between those two colors. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, so it kind of gives me that gradation of dark to light. So even though this color isn't in my palette, it works with everything in my palette. I think it works fine. Now also, I will probably be getting rid of some of this stuff over here, but I'm not sure how much yet. Anyway, so I got to think now about where the tie is going to be. See how I have this shape in the tie here? The tie is going to be something like this. So I'm really only going to get this. Let me move it down to where it'd be close to the bottom of the tie. I'm really only going to get this central portion in here. So maybe I don't have to bother with that. I won't even see that when I do my final tie. It's going to be cropped off. But I think what I'd like is, see how I made this wave very, very tall? I think I'd like it to be a tall wave. This is a case where I'm going to stretch it out without holding the shift key, because I don't really care if it's proportional or not. I just want to, yeah, I like that. It looks much more dramatic with the wave up in the air like that. So that's maybe all I'm going to do. That's, oh, so right now I have white in the background. If I want to have a background color, I'm going to have to draw a box. So let me, I want the box to be this color, so I'll click on that so it goes in the fill menu. And I will take the box drawing tool and I will draw the box with the background. Oops, it's on top of the foreground. Simple to solve. I don't think I showed you this before. If you go into the layers menu, everything's on one layer, but if you click that little triangle, you'll see it comes in the order that I bring them in. So you can see that this particular shape is on top of, or this, no, this is the last thing I did. So see, first I brought this in, then I brought my swatches in, and then I drew this box. So it's on top. It's very, very simple to bring it down. I just grab that layer somewhere. I have to grab it here, I think. Yeah. And I just drag it down, and I drag it down, it goes underneath everything. Or I can take this layer and I can drag it up and put it on top, and there I go. So I think that's good. I like that. When I go to change the colors in Photoshop, I think I might change the background to maybe the gold, or, you know, I have several different options. I'll probably leave the wave colors the same. I don't think I want to see red waves or anything. I'll probably just change the background color. But that's up to you to decide how you want to do it. So this, I'm going to save this. This particular technique you could use it if you did your own drawing. You could scan it and you could do this to it. You could use it with any photograph. But what's nice about it is that you end up with these arrows, the handles, you end up with them being a vector file. And then you can change it to however you want. I could change those shapes if I wanted to. I could even, if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to add more of the little froth on top. So it's simple enough. Let me just make this a little bigger. You see how I have all these little frothy things? Say I want to have a few more droplets up there. So I can just, let me see, I want to get white in my foreground. Okay, whoops, the background was still selected, that wasn't good. Control Z, oops, get down to, all right, let me make that Command Z. For some reason that's not going back, so what I'm going to do is I am going to use the eyedropper tool to make that blue So I'm going to get big again so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, no, wait. I'm going to make the same mistake again. I'm going to deselect that background. There we go. Get big again. So let's say I want to have, like I said, some more little white splashes, so I'll make my color white. Maybe I'll use this and just put a couple little other things in there. If I want to, maybe I don't want them to be that regular. Let's say I put this oval in here. Make it bigger so you can see it. Remember, you can hold the shift key and you get that handprint. You can move around. So let's say I don't like that being a oval like that. Here I can use, for effect, I can use, let's say, distort and transform, let's say roughen. If I go to preview, let me make it smooth, more detail. Okay, so now you see, and I'm going to expand that also so that object, expand appearance. So now you can see it's sort of a more of a blobby shape. I could also have done it like this. So let me take this one. Got to get bigger. I could also do it by just kind of grabbing the points and or the handles and moving them, and whoops, that's sort of very, and get kind of random shapes that way too. In fact, I might do it a little bit here because it looks a little too regular. Like that. So that's how I can get like extra things on there if I want to. I can change what's already there. Like for instance, I could, you know, take this that was already there, and if I wanted to, for whatever reason, you know, change it around. So it really gives you a lot of options for making artwork custom the way you want to make it. So that's what you do for this one. It's very simple.